Hey everybody. As we saw in today's hearing in Congress, Dr. Fauci is yet the latest example of how the Democrat elite in Washington will stop at absolutely nothing in their crusade for more control and more power, which obviously comes at the expense of our freedom, the expense of the interests of the American people. So Dr. Fauci is just the latest amongst the worst offenders. Sadly, there are so many examples that we can point to. You guys who watch me know that I use the word Democrat elite a lot. People ask me, who are these Democrat elite that you speak of? Yes, it's people like Joe Biden, people like Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. But it's important to recognize that it is also unelected officials like Fauci, who has shown throughout his entire career serving under both Democrat and Republican administrations through his actions that he serves his own interests and the interests of big pharma and big government consistently over the interests of the American people. The insidious part about this is that he and others take these actions and abuse their power in the name of working for our best interests when in fact they are doing the exact opposite. For example, as you remember during COVID, Dr. Fauci demanded that we place blind faith in him and the government. They said, just trust us. Just trust the science, that we are acting in the interest of your public health. But over time, we saw what it was really about. It was about control. It was about more money, huge amounts of money, our taxpayer dollars being put directly into the pockets of big pharma. They didn't care about the truth. In fact, they outwardly and very brazenly rejected science, rejected the truth, and just labeled their lies as science and the truth. Now we know Fauci has lied to Congress numerous times, including the lie that the National Institute of Health did not and does not perform or fund gain-of-function research. This is a serious one, and it's a crime that Democrats have imprisoned Republicans for, lying under oath before Congress. But here's the thing, is Democrats protect their friends who lie before Congress from ever being prosecuted and go after their opponents. We also know now that Fauci's team has been exposed through hearings yesterday and today. They worked behind the scenes to cover up the origins of the COVID outbreak. Fauci knew about it. He was CC'd on those emails, and he allowed it to happen and then lied to Congress about it. Fauci confirmed today that his quote-unquote guidance on ensuring that we all have 6 feet of social distancing between us wasn't actually backed up by any science. They just picked this random number out of there. I know if you were like me, when you're standing in the airport waiting to board a plane, they're saying 6 feet apart and then you're crammed together on that plane. It just makes no sense. And we can't forget Dr. Fauci's guidance was used in very serious ways to undermine our freedoms. He stopped us from freely worshiping in church or even outdoor services and drive-through services while still allowing drive-through fast food restaurants to remain open, while still allowing bars, strip clubs, and liquor stores to remain open. Fauci's so-called guidance led to the censorship of our free speech. It led to doctors who knew that what he was doing was wrong. If they dared to speak up, to challenge his guidance, they were threatened with their medical license and therefore their livelihood being taken away. This violation of our fundamental rights and free speech will have long-lasting effects. Their demonization of people who questioned or challenged Dr. Fauci and his team's guidance will have long-lasting effects. We've seen it in self-censorship, people afraid to speak up for what they know is true and right. Now, coming out of all of this, the takeaway from Dr. Fauci and the Democrat elite is they can lie to the American people. They can take away our freedoms in their pursuit of power, because as long as their friends are in power, they can rest easy knowing that they're going to get away with it. So here's the bottom line. We cannot allow politicians and leaders who abuse their power to remain in power. Our ability to bring about this change is in our hands. We must hold them to account so this doesn't happen again. But the thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually US funded and leads to this dangerous kind of research that in many examples has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya and look forward to being able to share that, hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link.
Correct, between the gain of function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary because just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right, under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then strong-armed and smeared people like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, anybody who came out and said, I don't know if that's natural. This actually smacks of lab.
And the reason why this is so important is not just what happened in the past, it's because this gain of function research is happening in biolabs around the world. We have to end this gain of function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.